Manga Chapter 103, crafted by the late Akira Toriyama before his passing, plunges readers into a high-stakes spectacle, where some of the franchise's most iconic fighters collide in an unprecedented free-for-all. The chapter serves as a kind of power hierarchy litmus test, pitting Gohan against a gauntlet composed of none other than Ultra Instinct Goku, Super Saiyan Broly, and Vegeta. What unfolds is not just a battle of fists, but a test of who has reached the summit after years of evolution and training. However, unpacking this chapter requires sorting through a lot of misconceptions, especially among fans who haven't reconciled with it in the timeline progression post-Dragon Ball Super Superhero. The events of this showdown don't take place immediately after the film's conclusion. In fact, it happens well after, a time jump that is subtle but clearly conveyed through several cues in the manga. Gohan himself, alongside Trunks, Goten, and Goku, all provide verbal or contextual hints suggesting that a significant span of time has passed since the clash with Cell Max. This is crucial because many fans mistakenly try to carry over the scaling from that film directly into this battle, when in truth, the circumstances and character states have shifted dramatically. Back during the Cell Max arc, promotional blurbs and character comments led many people to believe that Orange Piccolo had caught up to Goku and Vegeta, while Gohan Beast was positioned above everyone else. But those claims were located to that conflict specifically measured against the challenge that Cell Max posed at the time. Trying to stretch those comparisons beyond that event misses the point of the situational context. Fast forward to chapter 103 and we see what is an entirely different landscape. Goku's silvered-haired Ultra Instinct form has undergone serious refinement since the days of the Granola conflict, a clear indication of his ability to maintain the form for a duration matching the fusion limit of Gotenks, around 15 minutes, with no observable signs of degradation in performance. That stamina upgrade alone represents a huge leap in control and sustainability. There's also been speculation among some fans that Goku might have been holding back against Gohan in this clash. However, this theory falls apart in the face of explicit confirmation from V-Jump's editorial material, which affirms that both combatants were going all out, no restraints, and no sandbagging. This makes the fight a much clearer benchmark. It's not about sparring or testing the waters, it's a full-force exhibition of their respective ceilings. Each warrior in this chapter is shown fighting at the absolute peak of their game, their power shaped by unseen but implied intervals of growth and training. From Broly's raw, untamed might to Vegeta's sharpened precision and Gohan Beast's new awakening. Every fighter is shown to have evolved significantly since their last major appearance. Even Whis and Beerus offer commentary throughout the chapter, reinforcing how much power the landscape has shifted between the scenes. Importantly, Goku never entered the battle looking for a definitive winner. His intention from the start was to test Gohan's limits and gauge just how far his latent strength had matured since their last meaningful encounter. That perspective frames the entire encounter less as a death match and more as a final measure, a ruler for who currently stands as the tallest in this new era of Dragon Ball. And it's in this chapter that one of the most electrifying displays of raw talent and growth the series has ever seen to date begins. What starts as a high-level sparring match turns into a battlefield that subtly refines the pecking order among Universe 7's strongest. At the center of it all is Gohan, squaring off against Ultra Instinct Goku, Super Saiyan Broly, and eventually Vegeta, all fighting at their limits. Now, Vegeta being in Evolution Blue, or rather Super Saiyan Blue in this encounter, is a bit contentious, but we'll get into that later. While Goku opens up the clash relying on his refined silver-haired Ultra Instinct, now which offers him prolonged sustainability in battle, it's Gohan's unrestrained transformation into his beast state that disrupts the flow. The calm, calculated rhythm of Ultra Instinct begins to crumble under the sheer pressure of Gohan's fury. Even with the supreme dodging capabilities, Goku can't keep up. The moment Gohan hits his stride, Goku is pushed out of his Ultra Instinct state, something that we hadn't seen happen so directly in a long time. But this moment doesn't come with its own implications. Vegeta's commentary during the fight adds weight to a prevailing idea. Goku isn't matching Gohan blow for blow because of his power alone, it's his experience, tactics, and timing. Decades of combat and intuition, which allowed him to hang on as long as he does. Whether Gohan's strength keeps rampaging due to emotional spikes is left ambiguous, but the intensity never falters. Eventually, Goku steps back, not out of defeat, but to give Broly a chance. And this isn't random, it's strategic. Broly, who's known for overwhelming force and untapped reserves, is the closest thing Gohan has to mirror in terms of chaotic power. What follows this is a thrilling clash with Broly holding his own against a new stabilized Super Saiyan transformation. It's not quite his berserker form, but it carries enough intensity to stagger Gohan. Ultimately, Gohan's composure and sheer momentum carry him into victory once again. The big takeaway from this battle isn't just who won, but how they fought. It becomes increasingly clear through the dialogue and framing that Gohan Beast is in a form that has risen above Goku's Ultra Instinct and Vegeta's Blue evolution, at least for now. Yet, Goku's ability to remain relevant in the fight throughout adaptation shows he's far beyond from being left behind. The same theme echoed here earlier during the gas battle. It's not just about the transformation, it's about intent. Goku and Vegeta improve most when they genuinely push for victory, not just power-ups. It's also highlighting the difference in interpreting both the anime and the manga. In the movie continuity, Gohan Beast is painted as the definitive powerhouse, effortlessly dispatching Cell Max with raw dominance. In contrast, the manga version shows a Gohan who still needed considerable support during the beam struggle, suggesting his beast form might still be in development. Similar to this, Frieza's growth arc raises interesting questions. The way he predicts Goku's both time skip strength implies he's monitoring more than what we think. His awareness of transformations like Ultra Instinct suggests he's been quietly researching or even spying, always staying one step ahead. And let's not forget Whis' comment where he mentions that Gohan might make a solid candidate for a God of Destruction. Gohan turns it down, of course, but the acknowledgement speaks volumes. When it comes to Vegeta, things remain a little uncertain. Perhaps because Gohan embodied the idea of a warrior who's grown through intellect and training. While Vegeta hasn't showcased Ultra Ego recently, that doesn't mean that it's off the table, just that its conditions or drawbacks might not be ideal for every scenario. It could also be the fact that Vegeta's Ultra Ego was similar to Goku's Ultra Instinct in the Tournament of Power. Not the white-haired version, but the Black Omen form. Goku was able to tap into it in the heat of the moment and reassess it multiple times. However, it wasn't until further training after the Moral arc that he was able to use it when he wanted. Maris had to specifically train Goku how to use Ultra Instinct Omen, and that was pretty much the end of it. This could be similar to Vegeta since Ultra Ego seems to be an incomplete transformation and there's still a perfected version that needs to happen later. So either Vegeta didn't want to use it for reasons that make sense, or he just simply couldn't. All in all, the most recent chapter doesn't give us just fireworks, it reshapes our understanding of the current landscape. The battles are as much about growth as they are about power, and Gohan, the once reluctant fighter, now stands near the summit of Dragon Ball's most moral warriors. Another important thing to understand is the difference between Goku and Vegeta going for the win versus just going all out, because there is a difference. Gohan Beast being the strongest doesn't always mean he will win in every scenario. As we know in Dragon Ball, power isn't everything, and the Granola arc was a very clear indicator of this fact. And in the same way, just because Gohan Beast is the strongest right now, that doesn't mean that Goku and Vegeta won't surpass him eventually, or can stand toe-to-toe and beat him in an actual fight due to experience. The idea of going for the win is also mentioned in official material. It's not just something that the fans came up with. It's a very different thing, and it was also used during the Granola arc as well. When Goku and Vegeta are going for the win, they're doing more than what they would do to just go all out and fight at full power. Eventually, I'll make a video talking specifically about this concept in the future. As we continue in the power lineup, we have Cell Max. When he debuted in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, he was presented both directly and through implication as a monster whose sheer might outclassed nearly every Z fighter active at the time. Goku, Vegeta, Orange Piccolo, and the early version of Gohan Beast all came off as being beneath him in raw output, at least prior to their respective training arcs and the major time skip that followed. The only individual said to clearly outmuscle Cell Max back then was Broly, and specifically it's his unstable Super Saiyan version from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, who was already operating at a power level that could shake the gods. He's shown in his Super Saiyan form being able to gut punch Super Gogeta, who as a fusion should be much stronger than anything we've seen up until that point. But in the manga continuity, these direct statements about Cell Max's standing are noticeably absent. In particular, Gohan, Goku, Vegeta, and even Broly have undergone serious growth since the movie events. Their current forms, Ultra Instinct, Ultra Ego, Beast, and Control Super Saiyan, have likely exceeded Cell Max in power through sheer progression. And that applies to not just Gohan, who demonstrated clear dominance in recent chapters, but potentially to Orange Piccolo as well. While Piccolo's status is a bit more speculative, his combination of experience, tactical mastery, and superior use of techniques like Special Beam Cannon makes a solid case for his ascension. He's repeatedly shown his refined control over Ki. And in other battles, such as his match with Frost, he demonstrated that his technique execution might even surpass Gohan Beast, at least in that specific department. So where does that leave the other fighters in the universe? Well, there are other fighters such as Gas and Granola, and a theoretical perfected Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks as well. While we haven't seen this version yet, we do know that Goten and Trunks had continued their training after Superhero. Official sources even imply that in their Super Saiyan states they could hold their own against Gohan during sparring, and that's no small feat. Given their Saiyan biology and their fusion potential, a future version of Gotenks could leapfrog into the upper echelon of the power scale. Even then, Gohan Beast is still portrayed as having more raw power, hinting at his transformation may offer a multiplier rivaling if not surpassing fusion levels, and that alone is enough to place Gohan among the absolute elite. Of course, there's also Jiren, which hasn't had a major spotlight since the Tournament of Power, but fans still debate where he stands today. Look forward to a Jiren video coming sometime soon as well. Now, what if I told you that Toyotaro himself just confirmed the most hotly debated power scaling hierarchy in Dragon Ball Super, the one that we were just discussing in the manga chapter that everyone read? A recent official interview dropped the absolute bombshell, placing Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Broly, and Orange Piccolo all within striking distance of one another in terms of strength. But what does relative strength actually mean here? And where does Black Frieza fit into all of this? Well, let's break it down. Toyotaro, the lead illustrator and writer for Dragon Ball Super's manga, recently gave insights into how the top 5 fighters currently stack up. In his own words, the intent behind one of his latest drawings was to portray these 5 characters, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Broly, and Orange Piccolo, as rivals, all existing within the same realms of power. And this isn't just artistic flair. The Japanese term he used in the interview implies completion between forces of roughly equal strength. It doesn't mean they're all exact equals, just that they can all realistically go head to head. Think Goku versus Vegeta, a rivalry that lasted decades despite their powers fluctuating. Initially, confusion erupted online due to auto-translated versions of the interview and on the official Dragon Ball website. These machine translations led some fans to believe Toyotaro was saying all 5 characters are the exact same in raw power. But when properly translated, the word used implies that they're all in the same general tier, rivals, not clones. So while Gohan Beast might edge out the others, it doesn't mean characters like Broly or Piccolo can't compete with him or pose a threat. Gohan Beast is currently portrayed as the peak among the 5. His recent gauntlet fight, taking on Goten, Trunks, Goku, Broly, and Vegeta one after the other, proves insane stamina and adaptability. Gohan emerges as the most impressive, heavily implied to be the strongest in raw power. Goku and MUI has mastered his Ultra Instinct far from beyond the tournament of power, now able to maintain it for at least 15 minutes with no noticeable drain, according to indirect timing inferred from the fusion limit of Gotenks. This version is leaner, faster, and can adapt mid-battle with near-perfect reactions. Vegeta, while not using Ultra Ego in this particular spar, has current strength that puts him in direct rivalry with Goku's mastered Ultra Instinct. His growth mechanic, getting stronger as he takes damage, still defines a unique advantage in battle. Broly's controlled wrath, or Super Saiyan, is the development since the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, and it can't be overstated. Now being able to maintain composure and fight rationally in his massive Super Saiyan form, he's fighting on equal ground with both Goku and Gohan Beast. His potential seems limitless. Orange Piccolo, often underestimated due to his role during the Cell Max battle. However, Piccolo's current form is his own Ultra State, his version of Ultra Instinct or Ultra Ego. He's had time to refine his techniques, close the gap with Gohan through training, and likely surpass his own Cell Max performance where he was clearly fatigued and holding back. So what does Toyotaro's statement actually mean? It establishes these 5 as being in the same tier of power. While one may edge out another situationally, none are so far below the other that they aren't irrelevant in a high-stakes battle. And this isn't just speculative. Toyotaro explicitly says the goal of this current arc and promotional artwork was to provoke the exact question: who's the strongest among them? His own answer, through the narrative and character portrayal, is Gohan. But the others, still right behind him.